Overclockers UK have just driven all the way down to my house to show me the world's most expensive gaming PCs. So this is Jacob, this is Ian, also known as 8Pack from Overclockers.
Hi.
Show me what you've got in here.
Well, this massive case essentially.
Oh, bloody hell. Is it going down?
Now, yeah.
Is that going to fit through the door? This is the Orion X2 from Overclockers. It's built, custom built by this man, Ian Parry, also known as 8Pack from Overclockers UK. And how much does this thing cost?
And the current guys here, it's like 30,000 UK pounds.
£30,000.
Yeah. 8Pack is the most high-end systems that we do at Ursa UK. The highest performance possible and the most crazy looks. The range starts at around 5,000 and then tops out at this one around 30,000 UK pounds. But actually, with an upgrade to the cards that we're currently making to change to the RTX Titan, you're talking about 3,000 or 4,000 extra pounds on top of this.
Now, I know the first question you guys are probably thinking is, that seems far too much. Even if you bought 4 RTX Titans and the highest Intel processor and all that stuff, that wouldn't add up to £30,000, would it? How can you possibly put such a high price tag on something like this?
Like for example, the CPU here is a 7980XE CPU.
So this is an extreme Intel processor?
It's an extreme CPU, yes.
How many cores are we talking about?
18 cores. 36 simultaneous threads if your software supports it. Completely stable, well running 128 gig of high-speed memory. All its PCI Express lanes taken up at 4.6 gigahertz on the CPU core. To find a CPU like that, we'd probably have to take between 10 and 20 CPUs to find one that's capable of such high-end overclocking.
So it's not just the case of going on PC Part Picker or Overclockers UK and saying I'll have a graphics card and a processor. You're custom picking these very specific components which you know, or at least test, and therefore can get the best performance from.
Absolutely that, yeah.
But can it play Crysis?
Absolutely. Of course it can play Crysis. I mean, both systems within here can play everything.
Right, there's 2 systems in here. This isn't just a single PC. Like, we have 2 discrete PC systems in this one case.
So basically the top system's based on Intel's X299 platform. It's an 18-core CPU. We've got 128 gig of memory, 4 terabytes in NVMe, and then a further 28 terabytes in HDD on the top system alone. Then we've got the 3 RTX 2080 Ti's on the top system.
Okay.
They're configured in SLI, but we've got the 3 cards there because often customers who are buying this system are using GPUs not only for gaming. Yes. They're using for CUDA acceleration, engineering type stuff. Then the bottom system, that one's a Z390 platform. And on there they can either choose the i7 8-core at 5.2 or they can choose the i9 8-core at 5 gig. That's fully water-cooled as the entire system is, but is also stacked out with 2 NVMe drives, 2 terabytes each. So in the whole system we have well over 60 terabytes of storage.
I mean, you need it, don't you?
Well, of course you do. I mean, you always need everything, right? I mean, you don't buy a Ferrari to drive at 70, right?
True, you're absolutely right. This is extreme and way beyond what most people would want, but as you say, it's not just for gaming.
This bottom system here would handle 4K gaming without any type of issue.
And then you've got this as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Use both systems for gaming in 4K simultaneously, you know, father and son or friend and friend, whatever, you know, everything can be done really with this system.
I love that, so you could actually have a whole sort of LAN separate PC setup within the case.
Yeah.
What case is this? What are we looking at?
This is the Fantex Enthio Elite.
Is this sort of off-the-shelf stuff, or have you customized
No, it's not
this?
off the shelf. Fantex is a very close partner of ours. This one comes with already the 8-pack logo cut in the front here.
So talk me through that. They call you 8-pack. That's not just the amount of beers you drink, right?
It's absolutely not the beers I drink. More like the protein shakes I drink, to be honest. I was the UK's #1 for over 6 years at OC, and world #1 for like 3 years.
World number one overclocker. Let's make this clear. World number one overclocker for 3 years.
Yeah, as ranked by the official ranking on HWBot, yeah.
But you always go for the Intel processors. Why is that?
Basically because they're the best performance. I mean, it's really that simple. Whether it be single core clock speed software, like some engineering software like CATIA or SolidWorks preferring the single core clock speed, or whether it's engineering software like HyperWorks, OptiStruct, they're requiring a high number of cores, high memory, and GPUs.
But from my perspective, as mainly a gamer and a video editor, editing, gaming, recording, streaming.
Yeah, everything.
All that good stuff.
It can do everything.
How much does this thing actually weigh? I don't want to move it while
I
it's
think
on.
it's around 60 kilos, to be honest.
60 kilos.
Yeah.
I'm worried about my desk, actually. So the specs are as insane as the price, but I am curious about the water cooling.
Obviously, the idea of water cooling is a very efficient removal of heat and a very quiet system overall. The black loop here, which has been fed from the reservoir here, and this is cooling all the graphics cards. So you've got the 3 cards here and this card here being fed by these 2 pipes, and all the cooling is then fed off the I/O here. Obviously the cards are generating the most heat of the whole system. 4 of these cards, 1200 watts to remove. So we've got a quad radiator here for that, and we've got a triple radiator here for that. Then the red loop here, this is cooling the bottom system here, the Z390, and the VRM for that, and that's cooled by this slim triple here. Obviously there's a lot less heat output out of that CPU, so we don't need anywhere near as much cooling. The silver loop here, if you like, or the more clear looking loop, is fed by these pumps here and then up the I/O into this top CPU. Now obviously 18 cores, over twice as many cores as the bottom CPU, we need more radiator capacity, so we have a double thickness this time, quad radiator to cool this CPU. Wow. So that's how the cooling is set out. It's all set out on Aquero fan controllers by Aqua Computer. We're using a PSU that I designed in conjunction with Superflower, which is rated for 2000 watts.
That doesn't seem as high as I thought it might be, but...
Actually, when you run this system full out, it's pulling around 1600. So there's still some headroom. Yeah, there's still some headroom.
It's amazing how actually efficient a lot of this hardware is these days.
Intel with SpeedStep and such like are always trying to save power, save heat.
But this is very much a custom build. People choose what they want. You always get the latest specs.
Every single time that Intel are changing the platform, the CPUs, chipsets, bringing in new technology, that's going in here. And obviously Intel are helping by providing early samples of this so we can get a feel really for the technology at the early stage, get a feel for what that technology has brought to the table, as in it's an improvement for gaming or it's an improvement for the professional user or whatever it's brought to the table, and then implement it accordingly.
Hopefully that means you can sort of trickle down that learning, what you've figured out from that to then the PCs that people like you and I can actually buy.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it really is that trickle down effect, like the Formula 1 car trickling down into
my Ford Fiesta.
Yeah, exactly that, yeah.
I'm sure eventually.
Yeah, of course, but exactly like that, yeah.
So let's put it to the test. We've got Cinebench ready to go here. Got CPU-Z showing us it's...
Step down to save energy there at 1200, right?
But as soon as we start the benchmark, oh, yeah, up to 4.6, so that's your overclock.
Yeah.
That is fast. 4200.
4276, so yeah.
So I guess the issue actually is now not the performance of this, but getting the most out of it on the monitor, because this is a lovely monitor, but it's 60 hertz. So really, to take advantage of this, we want a 144, 240 hertz monitor.
Yeah.
Maybe even like a 4K 144 hertz.
Yeah, that would be...
Finally, you can actually...
Yeah, that would be the perfect monitor for this setup, I guess.
While I try and convince Ian to let me hang on to this thing, which I'm sure is not going to be possible, I'd like to say a big thanks to Overclockers UK for making the effort of coming down to my house, my studio, and bringing this awesome bit of kit. And also a big thanks to Intel for sponsoring this video. £30,000 is, of course, a crazy amount of money. Would you go for one of these, or perhaps something like an Audi A4 Saloon? But when you consider the R&D, the hand-picked components, the fact that it's been overclocked by a world record holder, and, well, the bragging rights of having one of the most powerful, most expensive gaming PCs in the world, maybe you could be tempted. And if you do want to find out more, I've put links to this PC and also overclockers.co.uk in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you next time right here on the Tech Chat.